This video is about the lore of the Winter Wyvern called Auroth. I used the lore of the Dota wiki, references to the comics, and voice lines as my guideline. I may use clips from the series Dragonblood, but I will view this as non-canon because of the contradictory information that brings to the table, like Wyvern turning into a human all of a sudden. I will not go in depth on gameplay or strategies. To support me, like and share this video with your fellow gamers. Now, let's begin. To start off, Wyvern is a dragon with 2 wings and 2 legs. Dragon is an umbrella term for all species of dragon in the Dota lore. Winter Wyvern is an ice dragon, and instead of fire, carries the cold winter itself in her gullet. Her full Latin name would be Wyvern Glacius Magnus Glacialis. Common name, Great Glacier Ice Wyvern. This according to my own taxonomic system, which I explained in this video. Auroth has once been living on Icewrack. This is a frozen land in the north, sometimes known as the Frozen Waste. On this unofficial map of the Dota 2 lore, made by the redditor, the Terrene Plane. The Terrene Plane is also what the map is called in the Dota lore. Please check it out, it has information on the biomes, cities, heroes, and even the animals or creeps living in the areas. Auroth had chosen an abandoned keep in the mountains of Icewrack to make her home. A high place to overlook the lands and possible battlefields. That is a good place for a wyvern. With her ice power, she settles in very nicely with a nice hoard of precious artifacts, a lot of books, scrolls, and tombs. Auroth is an eldworm. She claims to have been a maiden worm once, further proving that the eldworms aren't a species of dragons, or she is a wyvern, but rather a status that can be achieved by dragons. Maybe because of the worldly character of dragons, they decided the status of eldworm themselves, and no one dares to question it. Although later, there are mentions of dragon scholars, so there must be some kind of academic process. They recognize no authority other than themselves, and do whatever they please with impunity and disregard for the power of lesser beings. So a schooling system seems like a far-fetched concept. Maybe I shouldn't question this either. Oh great Auroth, bestow on me your poems, and maybe an autograph. It would seem that most of the known eldworms in this time, where our heroes meet each other, are dead. Devion the Dragon Knight is at least responsible for killing 2 of them, to great displeasure of Auroth.
I knew Slyrak, Dragon Knight. You're no Slyrak.
But how do we know she's the last one? This is according to the voice line of Mercurial the Spectre. After killing Auroth in-game, but then again, Spectre is an eternal being of violent energies whose mind and identity shatter and reconfigures when she uses her powers. This schizophrenic mess, without a clear origin, is maybe not to be believed. Again, Auroth herself confirms she believes she's the eldest.
I'm not just an eldworm. I'm the eldest one.
And when she dies in-game, she also reckons she's the last.
The last of the eldworms!
Maybe Spectre wants to reassure her insecurities, like a mean girl she is. Or maybe Auroth herself does not believe anybody can become an eldworm anymore. This overconfidence may be misplaced, because there is still a possibility for other dragon species to become an eldworm. There is not much known about her relationships or romantic endeavors. We only know that Aghanim has a romantic interest in Wyvern, but we don't know if Auroth is interested at all. We also know that Auroth is the mother of Shakiro. His father is an unknown Pyrexy. It may be because she's a wyvern and a Pyrexy is a dragon that Shakiro has a birth defect.
I should have crushed you in the nest.
To become an eldworm, seniority in age is required, but also proficiency in knowledge. Auroth is therefore ambitious to write for the Eldworm Edda to prove her status.
This must be the battle sung of in the Eldworm's Edda.
Eldworm Edda has accumulated eons of rich dragon history in the form of epics, poems, sagas. The Edda is a record of great events in their history, including stuff like battles and triumphs. A collection I would find very handy making this video. The Eldworm Edda are open-ended, but only to the Eldworms. Very inclusive and elitist. But then again, dragons are not known for their sharing capabilities.
That gave me a little time to work on the Edda.
Auroth is mentioned to not always write for the Edda herself. maybe for the lack of big enough pencils. But instead she uses a scribe, also referred to as her servant, thrall. Lore speaks of dragon scholars and that they have not been very productive. They have been adding only a few lines to the Edda since the Last Age. It is unclear when Auroth became the eldest worm, and therefore the last keeper of the Edda. But it is sure that the laziness of the new generation mark her pursuit for a fresh addition to the Edda, seeking new lore by going on adventures. When she makes a cunning move in the game, she proclaims triumphantly,
This day shall be held in the Eldworm Eddas!
Auroth especially likes poetry. Snapfire enjoys her poetry and voices out,
Oh, I just love your poetry, Auroth. Do one about Mortimer.
Even when casting spells, she finds inspiration from the Eldworm Edda. From her winter's heart comes a cold, healing embrace. Encased in a healing cocoon of the Winter Wyvern's magic, the mind eyes fill with poetic imagery of Auroth's favorite verse, Twilight, in the keep of Corwin. There is no recollection of this poem. Maybe some young scholars at Ice Rock also were lacking in their contribution. You can hear from the Winter's Curse sound a soft melody, which may be related to the visions. Interestingly, Lich also did something wrong to Auroth, implying that he's hostile to the Eldworms for some reason, seeing as Lich was a frost mage who enslaved entire kingdoms and ate the one who resurrected him. He may as well tried stealing the knowledge from the Eldworm Edda. Viper's shocked response, "What have you done to Auroth, Lich?" Maybe in his negative reaction, for he also is of dragon kind and respects the Eldworm Edda. We forget that there is more to life than triumph and dominion over enemies. We must also live our lives in the pursuit of creative expression. With that wisdom bestowed on the world, she embarks on a research expedition, collecting books for inspiration. But all this research is terribly distracting, and she spent less and less time writing for the Eldworm Edda. She finds herself engaged in epic battles against powerful enemies. She loots castles, raids ancient libraries. Dragons tend to be grandiose, arrogant, and selfish creatures, by human standards at least. But maybe because of that, she herself is in denial of causing more and more mayhem in the pursuit of knowledge. Not many dragons are known to be kind or forgiving, so a battle spirit is not frowned upon by dragonkind. The lore states, if she happens to heap glory on herself in the process, she tells herself that it's merely a side effect of her research, which leads me to believe she tended to prefer knowledge over brawling. The fact is, while her skill and power on the battlefield are legendary, her scholarly travels have thus far hardly been stuff of literary acclaim by Dota lore standards. But Auroth is not content to stand by as a protagonist of heroic lore. She also wishes to create it, which is in a way a wise and powerful thing to unravel, in my opinion. As the possible last Eldworm, she's the only keeper of the Edda and possibly the last. Before the Wraith King rises, the Eldworm Edda are rumored to be lost forever. This can be foreshadowing the death of the Winter Wyvern. Auroth's response to dying is,
Who will keep the Eldworm's Edda now?
in my opinion, there certainly is a possibility that another dragon species will graduate, if that is the right word, to become an Eldworm. It's only speculation to say what dragon species that could be, but after the fall and rise of dragons in the past, it's not impossible a new age with new Eldworms will rise again and become the new curators of the Eldworm Edda again. This was the lore video on the Winter Wyvern Auroth. If you want to support me, like and share this video with your gamer girls and boys from the internet. And I'll see you in the next video.